Greg Hamilton here with Insights Training Network and Insights Training Center to talk to you a little bit more about practical concealed carry tips. Step one of actually good concealed carry is have the right gear and the right clothes. So, by the right gear, we're going to want a high quality concealment holster. I prefer Kramer Leather's IWB number 3 or their pancake holster. Both carry the gun at approximately a 15-degree cant, the FBI cant, and they carry the gun very, very close to the body. I would suggest pairing that with an inch and a half thick double horse belt. That's my preferred belt to wear daily. Now, that belt is a lifetime belt. It's very expensive, but it will last your entire life. The holsters will probably last your entire life unless you do a lot of combatives work and tactical work with your gun, with your dummy gun, etc. You're doing a lot of fighting, rolling around on the holster with and without the gun being in it, doing retention where people are grabbing the gun in the holster and you're retaining it. You still will probably get 10 years out of that holster. So though it is over $100 investment for a holster, 10 years of hard use comes out at basically a couple, 11, 12 bucks a year. Totally worth it. So I'd highly suggest those two holsters and that belt. And I think inch and a half double thick horse is the absolute best belt overall. Inch and 3/4 is more secure. It's not super comfortable to wear and it doesn't fit through a lot of belt loops. So make sure that whatever belt you're going to get is going to fit your lifestyle. If you are a slacks and suit wearer, that's what you wear daily, and those belt loops are set up for inch and a quarter gear, well, then you're going to use inch and a quarter gear. Inch and a quarter gear is not quite as secure as inch and a half, but it is excellent still. I have worn inch and a quarter double horse for 15 years when I needed to be more discreet when I was doing surveillance work and such, and I wanted to limit the chance that someone identified my belt as a gun belt. Next is clothing. It would be best if you eventually chose what belt size you're going to wear and you made sure that all the belt loops on all your pants are in the right spots. So you want your belt loops to secure your holster so it can't slide forward and backwards. On the IWB number 3, with the couple types of pants I wear, the belt loop is perfectly positioned on the side of my hip to go between the two slots for the belt. I don't use any snaps on my holster. My loops are screwed down, so there's less chance of a failure point. And once again, the pants I wear put that belt loop right between those two loops, and it's perfect. If your pants don't do that, consider having them tailored and having belt loops put on. Make sure those belt loops are sewn on very, very well. A lot of modern blue jeans and modern pants, the belt loops are not attached very well. And when you do retention work, you'll literally rip the belt loops free from the pants. But you either want to split that or you want the loop to be both in front of and behind the holster so it can't move around. Then go ahead, and if you're going to have those pants tailored especially, sew all your belt loops down extra so that only that size belt can slip through it. Meaning if you're wearing standard blue jeans and whatever kind of pants that have belt loops that'll take an inch and 3/4 belt, but you have committed to the inch and a half belt, sew all your belt loops down so only the inch and a half fits through. That lack of movement will help with your draw speed. It'll help with concealment. It'll help with retention. Overall, it's just better. The more everything fits tight and doesn't move on your body, the more concealable it's going to be and the better your draw stroke's going to be. Next, obviously, is you need to make sure your clothing supports concealed carry. So initially, you're going to have to start working through your wardrobe, trying things until you figure out what you already own works. Right. Then from then on out, you're going to wear your gun when you go clothes shopping, and you're going to go in the dressing room and you're going to put everything on with your holstered gun, and you're going to make sure it works. Not just your pants, but the shirts, the jackets, etc. You're going to look at the tailoring, decide how slim a thing can be tailored while still giving you concealment, etc. And we're going to start, slowly evolving our wardrobe so that it completely supports concealed carry. Next is shirts. If you're going to have an untucked shirt, untucked sweaters, etc., you're not going to be able to have them highly tailored unless you have a very thin waist in comparison to your shoulders and your chest, etc. Of course, most of us could work on having less waist and more back and more chest and more shoulders. That would be optimal for concealed carry. So look at the shirts, look how they're tailored. And if you're doing the untucked shirt, untucked sweater you have to decide, am I carrying an inside the pants holster or an outside the pants holster? The advantage of the inside the pants holster, one of the many advantages, if you can comfortably carry one, is that you don't need your shirts to be as long. And so basically, I have my shirts and sweaters long enough that they come to the top of my pockets, right? And that is long enough. If you're wearing an outside the pants holster, they're going to have to be longer than that. Then next, besides the cut and the length, right, you want to make sure that it's stretchy enough or loose enough that when you go to grab it and pull it out of the way, it can move. So there's a few ways to solve this. Most of your sweaters and sweatshirts are going to be elastic enough, they'll move no problem. Some of your shirts won't, and you're going to have to decide then about maybe undoing a bottom button or taking that button, that bottom button or two, and sewing them on the front of the shirt and just putting a Velcro tab on the back. That'll solve that problem completely. I know this sounds like a lot of work, but that shirt's going to be in your wardrobe for a few years, right? It doesn't take much effort to modify the dozen shirts that you're going to wear to support concealed carry. And of course, as you buy new shirts, you're going to make sure that they're the right length, they're the right width so that you can both conceal the gun and get things out of the way. We don't just want length, we want some texture and pattern to our shirts as much as possible. This will really help with concealment, right? To have texture and pattern, that is going to conceal the fact that the shirt might, occasionally bulge a little bit around the gun. So we want to have the fit be correct, and we would prefer to have texture and pattern such that that conceals the gun also. Then when you have a front opening garment like a jacket, make sure that that jacket, if you need it closed, if you live in an environment where you're going to need to actually close it up because it's cold enough, you need snaps, okay? So I live in Western Washington. It doesn't get that cold. I can layer pretty easily with a vest and etc. This jacket I'm going to wear open. It has a zipper. I'm going to wear it open all the time. And if it's colder than this, I'm going to put on a different jacket, or once again, I'll put a vest underneath it. It doesn't bother me to have multiple layers. The vest, not so bulky, right? Because it doesn't have sleeves. I can fit it under the jacket really easily. Front opening garment, same thing. We need the right length, right? So we need it to be approximately pocket tops or longer if you were an outside the pants holster. And we need it to be not cut so tight that obviously it shows the gun. Pattern and texture is best. Jackets, the heavier it is, the less likely you really need it to have a lot of pattern and texture, right? A very, very lightweight jacket, it would be more useful to have some pattern and texture, obviously. Snaps are better than zippers. If you buy a rain jacket or something that has snaps and a zipper, you can obviously choose just to use the snaps. That's what I do, is most my rain gear is set up with snaps and zippers, and I just am able to do a couple snaps, and those will break loose as soon as I go for my draw stroke. All right, so here is another critical thing that we want to do for concealed carry, especially when you're new. Every time you get dressed and you put on your gear and you're about to leave the house, stop and do 10 grippings of your gun. Clear your concealment, get a full combat grip, right? Proper firing grip, right? Come off the gun. You don't need to unload because we're not drawing the gun. We're not dry firing. We are just doing the grip portion of the draw only. And we're going to do it at least 10 times at speed. We're going to make sure. Now, you could do it slow a couple times just to make sure. Then go at speed, hit the grip portion of the draw over and over again. Do it from a few different positions, and ensure that the clothes you're wearing today support a concealed carry draw. And if you do that every day for quite a while, for months, if not a whole year, because you're going to cycle through your season of clothes, by the time you've gone through a year, you're going to know your wardrobe, and you're going to know what works for concealed carry and what doesn't work for concealed carry. So get out there and start doing it. Carry your gun, right? Don't be worried about it. Don't be scared of carrying your gun. Look at yourself in the mirror, obviously. Learn to move correctly so that you don't show your gun. And every day before you leave the house, 10 of the grip portion of the draw to ensure that you know exactly what's going on with your clothing and your holster. All right. So again, I'm Greg Hamilton, Insights Training Network and Insights Training Center. All the standard stuff, like, subscribe, share, etc. Would really like, though, is ask us questions. What would you like to see covered with concealed carry? What are your favorite concealed carry tips? What have you learned? What are your concerns? All that kind of stuff. Throw it in the comments, share with some friends, create a discussion. Also, of course, we have our General Defensive Handgun online course, and it is exceptional. There is already over 14 hours of material, not counting the extra credit, divided into over 190 lessons, something like 24 live fire sessions, a dozen dry fire sessions. It's extensive. But not only that, you're going to be part of a network and you're going to find training partners that are local to you. You'll be able to get together. You'll all be on the same sheet of music. You're all practicing the same stuff from the same course. That is going to be fabulous. So get on insightstraining.net, sign up for the General Defensive Handgun course, and get started with incredible self-defense firearms training.
The justification for use of deadly force is the conservation of innocent life. You're going to come back, you're going to come down, you're going to grab that concealment with your middle finger lifted out of the way and holster the gun. Like always, when you holster your gun, gently holster your gun to ensure that nothing is in the holster, in the trigger guard, etc. You don't need to shove the gun in the holster. Place it gently in the holster. Come back to the ready position, and now 2-on-1 exercise.
The exact same size dimensionally as far as the height of the gun and the length of the gun as the Glock 19. The difference is it's much thinner. Full grip clearance, covered trigger guard, and then lastly, it's rigid and non-collapsible. So after I take the gun out, the holster doesn't collapse and I'm able to put the gun away.
No problem at 3.5.